Hi Year 10, welcome back to today's lesson. So this is Wednesday the 6th of May. So during yesterday's lesson we looked at drugs and the different types of drugs that are available, and then we looked at the differences between illegal and legal substances and the impact that that can have. And I also talked a little bit about the use of drugs for medicinal purposes, so for example insulin or Ventolin or morphine. Actually, and methadone I talked about, and now I've realised that actually I've put that up on YouTube and talked about how methadone is used in hospitals, and that's used to help people manage their pain, and I was wrong. It's not methadone, it's morphine. So please do scrap everything I said yesterday about methadone being used. It's actually morphine that's used in hospitals, not methadone. So please don't go to your local hospital and say that you want some methadone to help the pain. So my apologies for that. This is what happens when your brain is not completely active and engaged and with it, apparently. So yesterday my get up and go had got up and gone, and I really struggled yesterday to be productive, which is probably why I told you that methadone is used as a drug in hospitals to control pain levels. Today I am feeling much better and much more productive. So yes, just to clarify, it is morphine that is used as a drug to control pain levels, not methadone. I will put that in the email as well. So today what we're going to look at is two of the specific drugs that have the biggest impact, and these are the biggest killers, I suppose, and neither of them, because we're just talking about smoking in terms of nicotine, neither of these are used for medicinal purposes. They're all used for an addictive reason, or people become addicted to them. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at the effects of smoking. I'm going to look at a little bit about alcohol and the kind of units that you're allowed to drink, etc., and smoking, and then I'm going to set you off on your task. Okay, so this just tells you what we're going to do. So we're going to look at the negative effects of alcohol drinking, the damage that can cause to the body, as well as smoking and the kind of damage that can cause as well. So I will have sent you a sheet out, and I'm just hoping that I've got it open. Of course I haven't. Hang on 2 seconds, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I just realised that I hadn't got any of the documents open that I wanted to show you. So as I was saying, this first task that is on your PowerPoint, so I'm going to send you I'll send you all this as an attachment, but this one is looking at whether the drinks are alcoholic or non-alcoholic, and that should be relatively easy to do. So I want you to go away and do that. Obviously, you may not have access to a printer to print these sheets off. You can edit the document and just write underneath them, or you can maybe group them, or you could just write them out in your books. It's entirely up to you. So pause me and then unpause me when you have done this, and we will come back. Okay, so I'm assuming that you've done that, you've paused me, you've unpaused me. So just to have a look at which ones are alcoholic. So that obviously is the main split between what is alcoholic and what is not alcoholic. Now actually this one here is a bit of an anomaly, because this one can be alcoholic and it can be non-alcoholic. So they also do a non-alcoholic version of this, and Copperberg also do one. Carlin also do one, I believe, and they're predominantly drunk by people who want the taste of alcohol without the alcohol in it. So a lot of pregnant women who obviously can't drink whilst they're pregnant will drink alcohol-free beer or lager, and it's perfectly safe because obviously it doesn't contain any alcohol. So to look at in terms of the amount that you are recommended to drink each week, okay, so 14 units of alcohol is the recommended limit. Now that will very much depend on what you are drinking, because obviously the bigger the drink, the more alcohol in the drink, the bigger the unit, or it could be the smaller the drink, the smaller the unit. Depending on what you drink and how much of it you drink obviously will depend on how many units you consume. Now that is across a week, so that is across 7 days. Now this question here, does this mean I can save my units and have them at once? That is what is known as binge drinking. So what a lot of people will do, or a lot of younger people will do, maybe not so much now, but certainly when I was younger, when I was sort of 18, 19, the popular thing to do was to not drink during the week, so people wouldn't have any alcohol during the week at all, and then of a weekend they would go out and they would binge. So they would drink all of their week's units and more probably in one night. Now obviously the recommended units are 14 per week. So if you have 14 units of alcohol a night, in one night, you are still within your recommended alcohol limit for that week. But it's not recommended because you're giving yourself 14 units of alcohol all in one go. And obviously that then impacts on your ability to function the next day. It can give you a hangover. And what a lot of people don't realise is, and this is more scientific and mathematical than it is that you need to know, really. So you don't necessarily need to know this, but it's just something to think about. That this 14 units of alcohol per week is based on an average male or female. So a male or female of average height and of average weight, okay? Now, the weight you are and the height you are and how fast your metabolism is can have an impact on how quickly you can consume that alcohol and get rid of that alcohol. So if you, for example, drink 14 units of alcohol in one night, and then on the next morning you get up to go out for a drink, to go out for a drive, if you are then pulled over and you're breathalyzed and you're tested, that alcohol could still put you over the limit. Okay, and that is because your body hasn't necessarily had time to process that alcohol and kind of get rid of it and burn it out of your system. So that's why they recommend not drinking 14 units of alcohol all in one go, because if you only had 1 or 2 units of alcohol in a night, the chances are you are not going to be over the drink driving limit the next day, whereas if you had 14, you probably are, unless you've got a very quick metabolism and you burn it up quickly. So in terms of looking at what that's comparable to, so 14 units of alcohol is around 6 pints of beer, 7 glasses of wine, or 14 single shots of spirits. Now, on any of that, you would probably be drunk, okay, to consume that amount. And you're talking about single shots of spirits. So you're talking about single shots of vodka, Bacardi, tequila. You would probably be drunk off any of those if you had all of that in one go. Okay, so that's just something for you to bear in mind. Okay, so then there is a second worksheet called Dave and Tia, and this gives you a little bit more in terms of excuse me, what you are allowed to drink and how that equates to your drinks that you can have in terms of your units. So a bottle of wine, if you consume 1 bottle of wine, that's 9 units. An Alcopop, so WKD, I don't even know if this is available now because it's been so long since I drank an Alcopop, but Bacardi Breezers, that kind of thing. Smirnoff Ice was a popular one when I was young. They're 1.4 units each, okay? So you have Dave and Tia who are going out to drink, going out for not going out to drink specifically, but are going out for nights out with their friends. So Tia's going to play pool with her friend on Tuesday, meal with a boyfriend on Friday, and then go to a party on Saturday. And then you've got Dave. So what I want you to do is, based off of the fact that they are only allowed 14 units of alcohol per week, what could they realistically drink in a night to not go over those 14 units of alcohol in a week? Okay, and again, you can do those on in your books, or if you're able to, you can print, or you can just write it into here and edit it. So that will be your next task. So again, pause me and then unpause me when you are done. Okay, so again here, government advises that people should not regularly drink more than the daily unit guidelines of 3 to 4 units of alcohol for men and 2 to 3 units of alcohol for women. Regularly means drinking every day or most days of the week. So again, that's kind of backing up what I said about your 14 units. You don't drink them all in one night, you spread them out across the week. It's slightly different in terms of your average daily recommended allowance for men and for women, and that's because women generally are of an average smaller height and weight than males. Not always, but it works on an average basis, okay? So obviously in terms of smoking, smoking again has a massive negative impact on an individual's health and an individual's well-being. So there are 2 things that I want you to look at. This first one is the financial cost of smoking. Okay, so John here smokes 20 Benson cigarettes a day. It's about £11.10 for a packet of cigarettes at the moment, or for a packet of Benson cigarettes at the moment, and that works out at 55p per cigarette. And then it's just got some calculations down here. So how much will he spend in a week? And this is working on the basis that he will buy a pack a day. It doesn't mean that everybody who smokes, who buys a pack of 20 cigarettes, will smoke that much, you know, a box of 20 in a day. But this is working on the fact that John does. So this will give you a breakdown of how much you can smoke, how much you will spend a week, how much you will spend in a month, and then how much you will spend in a year. Okay, so just taking that into consideration. So once you've figured that out, what could he better spend his money on? And there will be many things that he could better spend his money on, but what could he better spend his money on? So if he's spending, and I don't know what the answers are going to be, if he's spending £100,000 on a year on cigarettes, what could he buy? Okay, so that's something to get your numeracy in there. And then the second sheet I'm going to send you is this one. So it's the effects of smoking on a person's body. Now, some of these, before I move down, some of these pictures are a little bit gross and might make you feel a little bit ick. So if you are squeamish or faint-hearted, then you may want to email me and say, Miss, can you send it without the pictures in? And I won't scroll down to the pictures just in case any of you do want it without the pictures in, but it basically tells you all of the different effects of smoking on your mouth, your lungs, your stomach, I think is on there. It gives you all the effects of smoking on the different parts of your body. And then what I want you to do is to look at the effects. Which part of the body does smoking affect and how does it affect them? So you're taking the information from there and putting them into a note format in your book. And whilst you're doing that, what impact could smoking have on an individual's pies? Now, obviously, the biggest impact it will have is on your physical development. But how could it also impact your intellectual, emotional and social development as well? Then we've got a picture. You don't need to do anything with this. It's just something for you to think about. So this is a picture of a parking space. Got a picture of this is what's seen on disabled parking spaces. Every 48 seconds, a drunk driver makes another person eligible to park here. So what is that picture trying to communicate and how does it do that? Okay, so that is just something for you to think about, not something that you necessarily need to do. And then if you've done all that and you want a bit of a stretch and a challenge, and again, this is where your distinction grades come in. So why do people continue to drink and smoke despite knowing the risks? So what is it that makes people still go out and buy cigarettes despite knowing that it will cost them an absolute fortune every day, every week, every month, despite knowing that it increases their risk of lung cancer, of heart disease, of mouth cancer, or of liver failure if they're drinking? Why do people continue to do that? Do you think that enough is being done by the government to try and discourage smoking and drinking? So are they doing enough? And one of the things that the government did recently was to stop the branding on cigarettes. So one of the things was now when you go into a shop to buy cigarettes, they are all behind a sliding door, so you can't see them. They used to just be seen when you walked into a shop. And the cigarette packets themselves are completely... they're just black with a picture, a horrible picture on. Let me see if I can show you one. So I don't know how well you can see this, but that's what they look like. So they're just black, and then they've got a picture on, and the pictures can be quite grotesque at times. I'm just trying to see if I've got another one that I can show you. Doing well, aren't I? Yeah, so there's another one. So that's a little bit vile. That's someone's foot, and that's showing you what it can cause. So that's what cigarette packets look like now. And that's what they look like. So they are props that I've had hold of for a while to teach this lesson. I used those last year when we taught this lesson as well, but it's just, there's lots of different quite upsetting images on there. So is that enough to stop people from smoking or drinking? What would you do that you think could potentially encourage people to stop smoking or drinking? What do you think the government could be doing to have more of an impact on stopping people smoking and drinking? And that is then it for today's lesson. So we've then covered, once you've done this, we will have then covered drugs, alcohol and smoking. Now what I'm going to do next week, so next Tuesday, I will send out your first lesson will probably be an exit ticket. And a full assessment that I want you to do on everything that we've done so far before we move on to the next part of the content. So I'm going to cut off here because I only have about 30 seconds left. Obviously, I'll be online for the duration of your lesson, so any problems, let me know. Bye, everybody.